Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us. It's episode 151 of our little show. Thanks for meeting us tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with us for 151 on and off weeks of this crazy adventure that we've had going. I'm Danny Cooper from PriusChat.com and potentially other ventures. And I have with me tonight my co-host, Russell Frost.
Is that me?
You.
Yeah, that's me. Hey, thanks, dude. Nice to see you on the show. Fine Dr. Pepper shirt you're sporting there, by the way.
This is actually like a little Russell shout out.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that because I do live by and for Dr. Pepper, at least the diet version. So, chemicals, baby. It's all about chemicals. Better living through chemistry.
Yeah. Well, you haven't lived unless you've had what's that Texas Dr. Pepper called? The one with sugarcane.
Oh, the throwback or whatever yeah.
Well, it's not even throwback. It's just like they had one factory left in Texas where they originally made it that was still making it with sugarcane.
Yeah,
like Mexican Coke, but
yeah, similar to that.
Yeah, my doctor would euthanize me if I started drinking that. So I can't even put that in my shopping cart.
Well, that's too bad. Tonight with us, we've got a couple of friends.
We do.
So thank you for joining us. First of all, we've got Paul Guzik from the Great West-ish, kind of west, almost.
Rocky Mountain region.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Glad to be back.
He's on a Rocky Mountain high this evening.
From Boulder, Colorado. Yep. Actually, I'm not high, but a lot of people in Colorado are at any given time.
That's true. Legally.
Illegally.
And also with us tonight, we have the man from Oregon. It's Patrick Connor.
Hello. And it's also legal here as of July 1st. But in 6 days, we're going to have a new Max, our light rail, running here in Portland. There you go.
How long is it?
I don't know what the rail is. They built a new bridge for it.
So it's Cooper.
Do what?
We just started the show and you're getting there.
Hey, I feel like I haven't been on a lot lately, so I really have to interrogate people.
Okay.
Charlie Rose right there.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right. So I just turned up my level. I don't know if I turned it up too much, Russell, but I'll let you.
I think that's good. Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Let's start out with some 2-minute topics this evening, gentlemen. Paul was the last one to say that he had one, so let him go first.
Sure. And my 2-minute topic is more of a public service announcement than a news item. As many of you know, I run a repair shop that works mainly on Priuses, but if you have a car with a gasoline engine, please check your oil as if the car has more than 100,000 miles. Because in the last month, we've replaced 3 engines in Priuses because customers don't know what a dipstick is, and they run their car out of oil and they're engine grenades. And you can buy a quart of oil for $5 or a used engine for about $2,200. So check your oil.
Whoa. A used Prius engine is $2,200?
By the time it's installed.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the engine itself is
That's
a little
not so
less,
bad.
but it's a big job to swap it out, and you got to replace all the fluids, and yeah. So check your oil. It's not hard to do.
Wow.
Or don't, and I'll gladly sell you an engine.
Yeah, or if you're in the Boulder area, please disregard this information and go see Boulder Hybrids. That's boulderhybrids.com.
We need to hold up a sign that says "Oil not needed in Colorado."
That's right. Yeah, cars in Colorado, you never need to check your oil. And that's another benefit of an EV, of course, is you don't have engine oil, you don't have spark plugs, you don't have catalytic converters, you don't have timing belts, you don't have all that crap that makes repair shops money.
That's right.
There you go.
And we wonder why dealerships hate selling them.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we don't.
Pat, do you have one tonight?
I do. I'm not sure if you can play the video or not, Russell.
Okay. Well, let me try to do that. And why don't you intro it, and I'll work on it really hard.
Okay, so there's a group that calls themselves the California Drivers Alliance, and they have put out a video on YouTube called the California Gas Restriction Act of 2015, and it's a PR campaign to try to get you to call your local California legislator. Their website is, oh, should I even say it? I don't want to give them any press, but anyway, we all know this is bunk. So don't takemygas.org and tell your senator to vote no on Senate Bill 350 in California. And if you can play it here.
You know what? I think I know what I'm doing. I thought I did, but now I don't. No.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm lame. I admit it. I can't.
So let me guess. Big Oil is behind it?
It certainly looks like it is a AstroTurf campaign trying to just put out scare tactics. They're claiming that they're going to take away your ability to drive to work. And if you're a common person that can't afford a Tesla, then you're hosed if this bill passes. Yeah, it's a yeah. It's a bunch of BS. And
Evan can still get to work.
That's right, yeah. Lucky for Evan.
All the doctors and lawyers of the world will still be able to get to work. Yay!
So I saw this, and so I Googled it and went and read the bill, and it's not at all the way they portray it. They're talking about they're going to take away your gas, but they set goals to reduce the amount of fossil fuel use by 2040. That's not the same as taking away your gas and not giving you the ability to drive to work. So I thought one of the comments here in the comment section was great, and it's not from me. It's from the Shark Cookie. What a stupid way to misrepresent the act. It's about reducing carbon emissions. It's about cleaner air, less noise, healthier cities. Electric cars and hybrids are already, at this point in time, 2015, a better and cheaper alternative than gas cars. In 15 years, things will look even better for EVs. And so if you go and you look at it, the way the bill is written is when there is a renewable energy alternative that is cheaper than fossil fuels, that's what the state will be using or recommending or encouraging. It's not taking away your gas. Anyway, there's my 2-minute topic.
But what about my gas, Patrick? Oh, I'm sorry.
Get some Gas X, and you'll be okay, Russell.
Cut down on the burritos.
Well, burritos might assist with this next piece, that our first piece that we're going to do tonight, which,
Cooper's back.
which would make people louder.
The quiet cars, good way.
Quiet cars, yes. So the U.S. is finalizing the quiet car rules that have been. I feel like we've been talking about this topic for 3 years now.
We have. I mean, this goes back to 2013.
So 2 years.
Well, okay, it feels like 2 years.
Yeah. So, and it wasn't the Hyundai Sonata hybrid was actually delayed so that they could put this sound maker into it.
Yes.
And the law never even passed.
Right, which still hasn't been legally mandated. Yeah. This is.
As long as it's a cool sound, I want the Jetsons car sound.
See, if it was customizable, it would be at least interesting. As long as like the bill says it has to reach a certain decibel level, right, and it can be any sound, then I mean that might be kind of cool if you could.
Right. Because
like the Prius one sounds kind of lame.
It's like a muffled foghorn or something.
I've heard the sound before somewhere else. I'm trying to pinpoint where it is. I will come up with it during this conversation.
So I don't want to ruin your fun here with the customizable stuff, but Plug in America on their blog Tom Saxton actually has a really good article about this that came out on the 3rd, and he talks about what kind of sound should be used and how you don't want to make it like chirping birds, because that's not going to stop a person who is sight impaired from walking out in front of you. So there are very specific sounds that it has to be, and actually a rumbling car is probably not a good choice because of the frequencies that it uses. It makes it hard to determine locality of the sound. So there are some sounds that are better than others. Let me just put it that way.
You're a real buzzkill, Patrick.
I know, yeah, science and crap.
Oh. Like, that's meaningful, please.
You engineering nerds. Ah.
But there could be a whole business around it, like ringtones, like could make your car sound like an ice cream truck or a Harley.
Oh.
Then you can run over small children as they come out.
All blind children.
Yeah. Yeah. There'll be no more small blind children.
I love the idea that, number one, this whole thing has just been half-baked from the start. It was a bad law. It was pushed through inexplicably, and they haven't been able to implement it because, honestly, it makes no freaking sense. And now that they're about to, they're bypassing the test period and going right to the full implementation period because the manufacturers say they don't have enough notice. So we're talking about, I think, 2018 is when this is actually going to kick in. Automakers will have at least until the 2018 model year.
September 1.
So, yeah, it's terrible. I don't know what to say. I'm just going to rant. I won't.
I don't even think it's that awful of an idea. I mean, we do. The hearing impaired need to,
No, the visual.
The sight impaired.
I'm sorry. Yes, the sight impaired need to know that there are obstacles to crossing the road.
Well, it's just not the sight impaired. It's people walking, looking at their phones, walking into the street.
They probably have headphones in, so they're doomed.
Yeah.
You can't.
That's just going to be Darwinism. They're just going to die off.
I guess at least where I am, and I'm certainly not true in big cities, but where I am, at all the intersections now, they have that chirping sound when the walk indicator's on. And that's the only time that a person, sight impaired or not, should be crossing the street.
Right.
Russell's still shaking his head, though.
I got nothing. I think this is stupid. I don't understand.
I was opposed to this idea, and then I got the Leaf, and it has sound when the car's below, I think, 18 miles per hour, and it's not even noticeable. From inside the car, you can't tell. The only time I've heard it is when I've seen other people driving at low speeds, or going through a drive-through. It'll bounce off the wall. If you have your window down, you can hear it. So it's really not that big of a deal to add it, and if it helps, I'm fine with that. At first, I was like, no, as soon as I get my car, I'm gonna find that speaker and I'm gonna hit it with a hammer and fix it. And then I got it and I was like, I don't really care. This is fine. And it by the time you're going 20 miles an hour, it shuts off because the road noise tire noise is louder than that anyway, so you don't need it.
Yeah, and really, when you're driving at higher speeds, the road noise sound of a Leaf and of a most standard ICE cars today is about the same.
Exactly.
Outside of the car, yeah.
I did get an opportunity to have a pretty funny joke told to me, thanks to the noisemaker on my plug-in. I was pulling up to park at a football game last year, and I pulled up to park, and the sound thing was going off until I hit 0 miles an hour or whatever, and the parking attendant came up to me and looked at me and said, "Well, now I know what a vagina sounds like."
Oh.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So let's end with a vagina joke tonight on that one, and move right into.
You did say you'd think of what it sounded like before this segment was over.
I guess that's what it was. Yeah.
I'm going to let you finish the show, Cooper.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm done.
We've lost all of our female listeners at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of
All of them? You mean both of them?
Both of our wives.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, you couldn't get around the internet this week without hearing or reading two wonderful buzzwords in the same topic or
In the same news
heading.
story. In the same link bait?
The same link bait. I'm surprised they didn't find a way to put Tesla in there. But BMW and Apple have been hitting the news waves this past week for interesting reasons. Apple is reportedly, air quotes, in talks with BMW for a possible collaboration on a car project.
Well, can I jump in here?
You may. You
Okay.
are Captain Apple.
So this story goes back to last year. Tim Cook and some Apple executives visited BMW in their home, wherever in BMW land, to quote unquote see production and ask them questions about tooling and things like this, which I'm sure BMW was more than happy to give them all of their production secrets. Almost everything that I've read surrounding this story is speculation about what they talked about. Of course, Apple hasn't said anything about the meeting because they're Apple and they never say that. And of course, some loudmouth not that I care, some loudmouth at BMW was the one that probably blabbed this out and said, oh, blah, blah, blah. I think the reason I put this in here is I've been fighting this rearguard action on this story because I've been the one vocal saying, no, there's no way Apple's going to make a car. There's no way. And then they hired this dork from Chrysler, and then there's more engineers that they're hiring. And now they met with BMW, and it's like, I'm looking dumber and dumber every But I'm sticking with my prediction. This is not about Apple making a car. This is about Apple making something auto-related. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to speculate. But that's it. But it would be irresponsible for me, just because it makes me look like maybe an idiot, to not report this stuff. So that's why this is in here.
Maybe it's going to be a hoverboard.
Well, and it's also in here because it specifically went to Germany to look into how the i3 is manufactured. They could have
And the
just
i3 begins with I, like every other Apple product.
Exactly. They may have been delivering a lawsuit, just by hand. But
You can't use the letter I in front of any other letters.
yeah.
Or numbers.
According to Reuters source, Apple left the talks without reaching a deal with BMW because the company, quote, wants to explore developing a passenger car on its own. Here's a couple of the money quotes. During the visit, Apple executives asked BMW board members detailed questions about tooling and production, and BMW executives signaled readiness to license parts, one of the sources says. Apple executives, here's a quote from a BMW source, Apple executives were impressed with the fact that we abandoned traditional approaches to car making and started afresh. It chimed with the way they do things too.
According to an unnamed BMW executive.
I still think they're going to make a Chrysler Town and Country twin.
A 1984 Chrysler.
There we go.
That's just wishful thinking on your part.
We had the 85 Dodge Caravan.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's a car and a van.
It's a caravan.
Caravan. Paul, you're on. Nicely done.
Well, speaking of ripoffs, I think we can move right into our next piece tonight. Just because there's nothing else to talk about, I don't think, about the BMW thing, because who knows? Yeah. It's like many things in this industry. So who wants a Chinese Tesla?
I do.
Really?
You can buy it on AliExpress right now.
Yeah. They're made by the same factory that makes Harbor Freight tools. You use it once and they break.
with all the same delicacy and nuance. Yeah.
Precision engineering.
The entire car is made out of pig iron.
So there is actually a Tesla clone in China. It's made by Yuxia. Is that anywhere close?
We'll go with that.
Okay. Yuxia Electric. They've made a Tesla clone, and
It's ridiculous.
it's not all. I mean, it's like so Chinese ripoff. It's awesome.
Exactly.
I mean, at least it looks better than the Coda, which was the last Chinese car.
That's very true. Yeah. So if they're going to make a cheap knockoff, they pick something better to start with than a Corolla from 1984.
Well, let's see if a U.S. company is stupid enough to start trying to sell this in the United States.
Oh, this thing's never going to get across the ocean. Are you kidding me?
I like how they just kind of propped up a tablet in there in the interior. It looks kind of like wonky in the picture and everything.
Yeah.
There's a video on YouTube of like probably the same company that built a clone of the smart car, and they ran it through the European crash test standard, and it just disintegrated. I mean, you would be so dead if you were driving that car in an accident. Where at least the smart car, you know, it meets some kind of safety standard. So, yeah, don't buy a Chinese car for a while.
Now, one thing that this article over at Green Car Reports that I haven't seen yet. Here we go. Battery packs. They plan to offer versions with 40, 60, and 85 kilowatt battery packs. So 285 miles.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Those
And
are
I heard that
Chinese
they're going
miles.
to have the Zablamo mode is going to be brand new.
Yeah.
No, the
So
Let It
we-
Christ mode.
There's nothing about this that is good. There's no like from the silly front end with the display, which would be cool in any other vehicle except for this one. Because I think in the picture, isn't it showing a heart or something? Like all of a sudden it's owned by a 13-year-old girl?
But if you buy that car, you get a briefcase full of fake Rolexes. All of your friends.
The passenger seat already comes with like a fake Louis Vuitton bag.
Yeah.
So you guys are knocking on it, and rightfully so. But that ability to change the image that's out in front of the car, that's pretty cool. Why not have something like that?
I just don't want it attached to this car.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've wanted one of those on the back of my car for years so I could like put obscene messages on it.
Like a scrolling LED sign.
Yeah,
that says,
exactly. Yeah, you suck. You know, that kind of thing.
Learn how to
Back
drive.
off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that makes it kind of sound like Sam's is going to sell them, because whenever I see those signs, I think of Sam's.
They would be blessed to have Sam sell this car.
Anybody.
And then you guys were knocking on the tablet, but compared to what most cars have for infotainment systems, a tablet just super glued to the dash would be better
Yeah,
than
Yeah, an Asus tablet velcroed to the dash. That's all you need.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
This would be Lenovo. I don't think Asus is Chinese.
That's. Do you notice in the photograph that the tablet is kind of off kilter?
Yeah, that's what I was saying before.
Yeah.
It's like kind of just
The Velcro wasn't quite right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the glue didn't set quite enough before they took the picture. It's so. I just don't.
For those of you who are watching the show live, which thanks again for being here tonight, we appreciate it. You can check out. You can open up the Showcase app, and you can see the links to the stuff we're talking about, so that you can also laugh along at home with us.
There you go. Showcase.
And if you are listening at home and are wondering what we're making fun of, you can look in the show notes, and we've got it there at whatdrives.us.
That's it. Yes. As always.
Oh my God! It can display emojis.
Yeah.
Well, they have just sold a car. I am buying it.
And the adaptive cruise control works really well.
Well, I guess you can put in your order now. They hope to begin production in 2016 after settling a lawsuit with Tesla and deliver their first cars in 2017.
So this is a good test of Tesla's. They said they're opening all their patents for people that are using them. What was the phrase that they said? With good intentions or something. I don't remember the exact phrase that Tesla used. They didn't unconditionally say that they're all available. They said for people that are. I don't remember the exact term.
For the good of mankind.
But we'll see if something to that effect. Yeah, using them not for evil purposes.
It's like I've been watching the Americans, and they'll let the Russians get just enough information to where they have everything but the one piece that they actually need to finish it. And I'm pretty sure that's what Tesla's done with all this patent stuff.
Oh, you didn't add this?
Yeah.
Oh, we totally forgot how to tell you to connect it. I'm sorry.
Without this, the car doesn't run.
Well,
even if the car is turns out to be horrible, there's one good thing it has. The base price is around $32,000, and the top end's at $48,000. Now, I don't think that'll ever see the light of day, but if you could get something that looked this cool and really worked well, which I don't know if this will be that, at that price, that'd be great.
Yes.
Just like the $15 Rolex.
Yep.
And the
It'll work
$5
for-
movie. It's a little bit
Yep.
shaky, but
Yeah.
you can still see it.
Yeah.
Well, this past month was another shitty month for Prius, and there's no real getting around that. And before we start talking about the other half of this news article that we're actually supposed to talk about, I just want to opine for a moment. I don't think that it's the end of the generation of Prius that's holding back Prius sales. Because when you look at the Prius C and the Prius V, their sales are down in the can too. And so the other factor that you can look at is saying, okay, gas is down. Gas is way down. And so I think that's probably the biggest market effect. But do you think that our car buying populace is kind of over the Prius? Like 3 years ago, Toyota thought that it was going to overtake the Corolla as the number 2 seller in Toyota. And now it's like way distant behind the Corolla. Had a couple months where it beat Corolla, and now it's just way behind. Well, that's because they had a Corolla that was like the same generation for 12 years. But
I think gas. I mean, if $4 or $5 gas reappears, hybrid sales will jump up. People are buying pickups now. People are buying big SUVs again. And that's just, and now there's stories about gas being $2 a gallon by Christmas. So that's going to affect all efficient cars.
Thanks, Obama.
How can we be so short-sighted as a species? It's just sad.
Human nature.
Did you actually just ask that, Patrick?
Rhetorically.
Thank
well, Patrick, I saw you raise your hand. Do you have anything else to add?
You said who's over the Prius? I am. That was 1990s technology. If it doesn't have a plug, I don't want to hear about it. And 10 miles of electric range doesn't count.
Yeah.
Ouch. Sorry, Danny. So, Cooper, do you have a theory? Paul?
I think he hit the two big ones.
Yeah, I mean, Paul's expressed himself.
Yeah, I think cheap gas and Toyota doesn't build sexy cars anymore. Or the Mirai.
And there are big promises for what's coming out next year. This is when they're starting the hype for the 2016 models, and who knows what of these promises are really going to come true. But Toyota was not the only one that had poor sales numbers for July. A lot of them did.
Right. Yeah, I think Danny's having some technical problems, so I'll jump in and sort of be Danny for.
He's frozen.
Yeah, Danny is locked in his best memory. I'm not really sure what's going on there.
And his Chinese Tesla touchpad.
Yeah, I think he was figuring out which emoji pattern to put on the front of his Chinese Tesla. I think Patrick, were you the one or maybe Paul that just said? I think part of it is the lack of excitement. That there's nothing to. Gas prices aside, which are certainly a huge factor, the Prius. There's no. Everybody loves a novelty, you know, with whether it's a Hellcat engine or it's something else. Everybody wants something to kind of glom onto and go, I got a piece of that, you know. And I don't think there's anything exciting or anymore about Prius, you know. And it was always sort of a nerdy kind of excitement anyway.
Well, now every car has a touchscreen. Every car has a smart key. There's really nothing too unique in the Prius.
Nothing. Yeah. No, I agree, and that's a shame. Now, there's a
You know, it'd be really cool
what's that?
is if they added something like Android Auto to their car. That would get people interested in it.
Right.
Or Apple CarPlay.
Right.
There you
Or
go.
just a spot to put your favorite tablet right in the dash. That'd be cool.
And then Danny just sent me a message that he had to reboot. Yeah, except, thank you for the segue, Patrick. Toyota, I don't want to say they announced it, but Toyota has spread the word that they are definitely not, and that is N-O-T, no, not using Android Auto or Apple CarPlay in their infotainment systems. They, in fact, are going to be using something from a company called Telenav, their Scout GPS system, and UI Engine Link for infotainment.
So did they just make like free crack for everybody in Tokyo, or?
I have no idea. I don't know, and I don't know if this supplants Intune, if this is going to go along with Intune. They haven't really said, but other than this is Toyota really just driving a stake in the ground and saying, you know what, we are going our own way and we don't give a shit. So,
Meanwhile, every consumer has an Android or an iOS device in their pocket. That's what they want.
every consumer that's going to buy a car,
Yeah.
you know, every consumer that's going to especially buy shall we say, an advanced technology car, especially is going to be looking for these things and has one of those devices in their pocket and probably wants to use it.
Yeah.
I don't. Paul, I'm just curious, do you ever get any requests to retrofit stuff? I mean, to like fix the infotainment system or anything?
We had one customer recently with like a newish Prius that his Intune was all messed up, and the dealer couldn't update it, and we went around and around. Finally, the dealer did update it, but it was a nightmare for him. We do retrofit a lot of the older Priuses, like the early Gen 2s, with aftermarket radios that have Bluetooth, like real Bluetooth, so you can stream music and stuff rather than just talk on the phone.
Oh.
And real GPS instead of the crappy GPS that the car came with. So people do install aftermarket stuff, but why not just give the customer something decent from the factory? You know, maybe make it like iOS ready and charge $300 and put in a docking station and a power cord or something, or Android ready and charge a little bit, you know, just like a trailer or tow package that they sell on trucks. You pay extra for that.
Or a Boys Premium Auto.
Yeah, or
Premium.
JBL.
There you go. Yeah, just like you would for an improved speaker system.
Because the ability to put in the latest tablet every year into your car would be great for people.
Sure. Sure, but Toyota doesn't
I mean,
sell tablets.
Has anybody sat in a 2004 Prius and looked at the navigation? Like it's a joke. I mean, it looks like 1980s DOS. You know, if you try and use it.
Well, you do have to type in commands, right, to get it to work,
Yeah,
right?
C:\\.
Right.
But
Run and type
if
in.
you had a docking station, you can put in, you know, a 7-inch tablet or whatever every year and get the latest and greatest.
Oh yeah, they could even sell them that are all auto hardened right for their system as an upgrade. A few $100. The dealerships would love that. There's a couple of quotes in this article that are good. Go ahead, Russell.
No, please, Patrick.
Near the bottom it says, Toyota's biggest competitor, Volkswagen, announced yesterday that they would be supporting Android Auto on many of their 2016 models, as well as Apple CarPlay and MirrorLink. And then there's another one, another spot later. It says, if you have ever used Android Auto, you'll find it tough to go back to not having it. It's great for navigation, music, receiving, and making calls. It's just an all-around great infotainment system compared to what other car makers have. Much better.
Coincidentally, I saw a release this week that said VW sold more cars than Toyota last quarter, or something to that effect. So
bingo.
Maybe that has something to do with it. They're listening to the market.
You know, it's interesting how we've talked so many times too about like why on some issues the car companies are like, well, we're only doing what the market wants, and on other issues they're clearly not doing what the market wants. They're trying to shove the market into a box. And this is one of those things where Toyota is swimming upstream so hard, and I don't understand it. You know, just give people what they want, and they'll love your product. It's a good car.
No, they know the market wants a hydrogen-powered car with Entune. That's what everybody wants.
Obviously, they know that very well. Hey, Danny's back.
Hey, Danny!
You guys missed me, didn't you?
Yeah.
We did. So we've already talked about the Android Auto and CarPlay and Volkswagen overtaking Toyota as the world's biggest car maker.
Well,
we even did
you
a
guys could
segue
just end the
without
show.
Yeah. Well, one more story.
Oh, I don't have one more.
Oh, I sent out an addendum.
Oh, it's a mystery to me. All right.
Well,
I didn't
let
get
me.
the memo.
What's the mystery story?
The mystery story? It's like nobody reads my emails.
This should be a new segment. The mystery, Russell's mystery story.
What is it this week? It's okay. Let's talk about Volt 2.0. Inside EVs published and Chevy announced some of the basic stats for Volt 2.0 coming up in September, or they're going to start delivering it next month or October. It's in production now, as Mark Coughlin from the Waterloo Regional Votech Group told us last week. He actually saw it being built in the factory. This is a pretty exciting car, in my opinion. Now, I think we have to be skeptical. We have to be realistically skeptical and go, we want to see it in action. We want to make sure that Chevy's going to deliver on this. But what they're promising is a 53-mile EV range. That's impressive.
That's great.
That's very impressive. Yeah. And that there's a difference between 38 and 53. And I think for a lot of people, that's going to be very appealing.
That improvement is more than Danny's car gets.
Oh! I should have seen that coming.
Oh, damn! Damn!
That's going to be GM's advertising. We improved our range more than the plug-in Prius gets.
They also raised the gas, the hybrid version MPG a little bit. That's gone up to 42.
That I think is the bigger piece than the battery mileage.
In a way, it is. I mean,
because think about a second-generation Prius owner.
Gas?
No,
it depends on how you use the car, right? If you're using it to drive 45 miles a day, then that electric range was a big improvement, and that's what you care about most. If you're using it to drive hundreds of miles a day, then the gas mileage. They both matter. Depends on how you drive it.
Well, that's
always
always
complaint about the old Volt was you had to put premium gas in it. So I wonder if they've make it run on regular.
I think it's regular this time.
Okay.
I haven't heard that, but you may know more than I do.
You know what this makes me think of, though, is that those second-gen Prius owners who are currently only getting like 42 or 44 in their Prius, and they didn't really like the biggerness that the Gen 3 Prius had, and that we assume that the Gen 4 Prius is probably even going to be a little bit bigger. Gen 2 owners are now looking at their cars like, well, I could either, pay Paul $2,500 to fix my car, or I could just get a Volt, and it gets the same mileage I get, plus it gets me 53 electric miles.
Very good point. So yeah, that's a good selling point. Even if most people are using it in electric, it's still a very good sales point.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw pictures of the new Volt. It actually looks kind of cool. I like the design of it. I haven't seen one in real life, but the pictures look great.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in person either, but it's a nice looking car. This is a frighteningly astute vehicle. I mean, one could almost guess that maybe Chevy really looked at the market and said, "How can we make our niche? How can we make our product really super appealing to people outside of the niche?"
Mhm.
And this thing leverages sales all over a bunch. I mean, I can't afford a Tesla, but I want a car that could be mostly electric, depending on my driving pattern.
Yep.
It's the Prius plug-in with 11 EV miles and a 63 mile per hour limit doesn't appeal to me. And as we've discussed, there are people that like Toyotas or that like Nissans that aren't going to buy an American car, but there are also people that are going to buy an American car that want a car produced in the United States. And this one actually is an American car that is actually built in the United States, oddly enough.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a very important car for a lot of reasons. There's some things in here that don't add up to me. Where it says it has 106 mpge combined, but the first Volt only got 98 mpge when it was in electric mode. And if that's the combined mode, that must mean in electric mode it's over 120. How do you combine 42 miles per gallon with some electric number and get 106 combined? That doesn't quite add up.
Maybe they increased efficiency in the electric motor and
right. Even if it was
battery
120 or 130, I don't know. When they do combine, how long is that drive cycle? I don't know. We'll see when more details come out.
Right.
At least they're not coming out with 230 or whatever their ridiculous number was last time.
Right. I mean, it seems as though they've learned from the rollout, and they've learned from the first vehicle. They've made this vehicle practically and appearing to be very legitimately better. The other thing about this car that I think is really interesting is you can charge this car in 110. You don't have to have a home charging station. You could feasibly, if your commute is less than 53 round trip, you could drive this thing back and forth to work and plug it into a standard 110 outlet. That's huge.
That was true for the first gen Volt.
Right. But increased range.
And take longer to charge, though.
I think
right. On a 110, you
can only
get
pull
about
12
5
amps.
miles of range. Right. So you get about 5 miles of range per hour out of a standard home 120 volt outlet.
Oh, so you're thinking that it would take 12 to 14 hours?
10.6. At 53 miles.
You're one of those math guys.
No, I have my calculator handy. Which is still overnight for most people.
Right.
Patrick,
Exactly. Yeah.
is the fact that they... Well, no, because the Leaf allows 110, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So why...
But it's a bigger battery, so it takes like 20 hours to fill a Leaf.
Right.
Well, and you say fill, but if you're using 110, it's probably because you're not driving more than 30 or 40 miles a day.
Right.
Yeah. Which is why I quote it as a rate instead of time from empty to full, because that's nearly irrelevant for most people. It's really about how many miles per hour do you get.
Yeah, if you empty your Leaf every day, you're going to need a 240 connection.
Exactly. Yes.
So why do you think they left off a higher charger than the... What does it max out at this time? 6.6? Is that what we talked about last week?
Well, on 120, you can only do 12 amps. So.
Right,
So
but the
it has
240 charger, it's
Right,
still got
so
a pretty low charger for the 240.
the original one was 3.3 kilowatt, and I think this one is 6.6. I don't know. Does it say in this article? Like I said, this was a surprise article. I didn't read up ahead of time. So yeah, then you go from 15 to 20 to 30, 35 miles per hour of charge time if you go from 3.3 to 6.6.
But then
Assuming you
No,
have-
it only goes up to a 3.6.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, why not put in 6.6?
well, you still have a gas engine, so if it's not full, you'll still get home. Where a Leaf, it's more important to fill up the tank.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's a little better than the 3.3. It's too bad they didn't go all the way up to 6, but oh well.
Yeah.
So you're saying it won't charge at anything above a level 2?
So level 2 has different current ratings, and that's why it's in kilowatts. You can have 3.3 kilowatts or 6.6, and there's even some 7.2 kilowatts for level 2.
But at 3.6, you're still looking 4.7 hours to charge from empty. So if you can plug in at work, working more than 5 hours a day, you're good.
Yeah, and with this range, that you can look at it as diminishing returns. They were already getting 75% of people that were staying on electric on 90% of their days. Now they're going to bump up and get 85% of people that are going to stay on electric for most days. So you could argue that more range means you don't need to charge as fast. And just like Paul said, you have your range extender anyway.
Right. Yep. But, if you're playing the game, you don't want the gas engine to come on.
Right.
Right. Some people get obsessive about that.
Does that allow Chevy to use more of the battery than they normally would?
The charge rate?
Yeah. And, the fact that their customers are going to be slow charging it via the extender when they do run out of range.
No, level 2, you're not stressing the batteries at any of those. So the charge rate doesn't have anything to do with stressing the batteries.
Oh, it doesn't?
And then,
okay.
No, unless you were doing DC fast charge, and then a small pack like that, you would have to seriously limit how much current it could take. Whereas if you have a big pack like a Tesla, they can take a whole lot more charge because they're distributing over a larger battery pack, so each individual cell is not getting that much stress.
Okay. Good information.
And apparently the plug-in Prius during the EPA test cycle, the gas engine comes on, so because it can't go up the hill or something.
The Volt interior, ladies and gentlemen.
It's either they can't go up the hill or they take it over 62 miles an hour. I forget which it is.
Yeah, something.
The story is I was pulling out of the driveway at Toyota onto the street, started the gas engine, literally just not even intending to, but yeah, because I stepped on the gas too hard, which is kind of annoying.
I've gotten pretty good at keeping it in just short of that far line that
right.
If you fill up that gauge, it kicks in the engine.
You're learning to play the game.
But the Volt, you don't have to try that hard to keep it.
Yeah, I mean the gas engine doesn't want at all.
Russell can drive the Volt and it will stay in EV mode.
I've driven that with him, and he tried his best.
Yeah, I did actually. No, I enjoyed the Volt. In fact, my only complaint about the first generation Volt was I thought it was too much like driving a standard car, which was Danny's favorite thing about it. At least when we drove it in 2011, a million years ago. He really liked the idea at the time that, well, I don't have to talk for you, Cooper. You're right here.
No, please say what I think.
No, well, I mean, we had this discussion. I didn't like it because I wanted something that was more EV feeling, and you said no, you liked it because it felt like it was just a regular car. It wasn't ostensibly like the Leaf. It wasn't, hey, I'm an EV. I like that.
It had good performance, I thought. I was impressed by the performance of it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I would. I didn't think I would ever say anything like this, but I would own a Volt in a second.
Or at least one.
Or at least one.
A friend of mine recently bought an e-Golf, and one of the things he said is he likes it because it doesn't feel like an EV, but it is. And I thought that was an odd thing to say, but that's okay. If that's what he likes, great. There you go. Yeah. Car for everybody with different opinions about how they should feel.
Yeah.
The thing I'm most curious about with the new Volt is I thought the first gen Volt was great. This one's better in almost every spec they have, or maybe every spec. But can they stop from tripping over their own feet with their marketing? That was my biggest complaint about the Gen 1. They bashed EVs for a while, and they fired that person, and they had Volt dancers, they had dogs-looking feet, they had all kinds of crazy stuff. It was we'll see what happens this time.
Untrained dealers who don't have charged cars on the lot for people to test drive.
That's yeah. I mean,
That's still going to be a problem.
Stupid marketing is horrible, but getting past the traditional dealer network, where they'd rather sell a Cobalt or a Cruze or whatever the hell it is that Chevy, the GM's put a spiff on this week. The salesperson.
But that's such an easy problem to solve. You just say, if you're a salesperson at a dealer, you take this online training, we'll give you $300, and for every Volt you sell, GM corporate will give you $300 in addition to whatever your dealer pays you for selling that car, and boom, sales go through the roof.
Sure.
Yeah, but the problem is that they make 10 times more Cruzes than they do Volts, and so they have Cruzes sitting on the lots, and they have to sell the Cruzes, so they put the incentives on the Cruzes.
Yeah.
It's a viscous circle.
Yeah.
Anything else this week, Russell? Any other secret news you wanted to throw out?
No. There's a lot of good stuff on the What Drives Us Facebook page, which is located at facebook.com/whatdrivesus. Do we want to talk about the hack?
No.
Is that a next week thing?
Sure. It's not, time sensitive, I don't think.
Okay, because I definitely have a rant about the hack.
This one about the crash economy too, and how autonomous cars are going to kill the crash economy. We got to talk to Paul about that one someday.
Yeah.
Well, you already see there was the article also out from Consumer Reports about insurance companies already changing their methodology from being like the way that you drive to being based on who you are as an individual from a income perspective and debt perspective.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
nuts.
That's the insurance game anyway. It's not it's always been a matter of how can we charge them more, not how can we save them money. So if it's not driving record, then we're going to look at their credit history and say, oh, we found out in a detailed study that people with a lower FICO score actually are worse drivers.
Or that we can charge them more somehow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to live for. I have a low FICO score.
Just gonna bounce off these other cars as I go.
Demolition Derby for those of you that can't get credit.
There's been some new camouflage Prius, next-gen Prius video that's shown up on Prius Chat by a Prius chatter.
Yeah.
And it was actually kind of fun to watch because the guy in the next-gen Prius was totally trying to avoid the video, the guy with the video camera, to the point where they were like holding up traffic in San Francisco. I don't know if any of you have watched it, but it's pretty funny.
Well, so you have a car you don't want anybody to see, and you drive it through San Francisco.
Yeah. Everybody has like Google
Fucking
on their phone.
Right, where every third person, number one, has a Prius and has a video camera with them.
Mm-hmm.
And knows how to use technology.
That's not trying to be secret. That's trying to draw attention to yourself. That's just sad.
Well, see, they should instruct the test driver to be like Vanna White inside. Be like, and this is the new interior dash. And this is where you will not have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
Yeah, your smart device will not connect to this dashboard.
Hope you have Bluetooth. That's something that we had in this Prius 11 years ago.
Yeah, trying to hide only made the video go viral even more.
Yeah,
that may have been intentional, though. Who knows?
Maybe.
Knowing what I know about Toyota's viral capabilities, I would not bet on that.
They're not as good as Apple's.
I wouldn't say
controlled
that they're
leaks.
quite in tune with that segment of the population.
Was that a joke? You just
in tune.
Good too.
You like that?
Uh-huh.
You like that?
That was good.
Thank you.
You have good writers.
All right. Anything else tonight?
I got nothing.
Good. Let's skedaddle. Let's wrap it up. Paul, you want to plug your business and how people shouldn't put oil in their cars, and when they don't
That's
put oil
right,
in
yes.
their cars,
If you-
they should come
if you
see
live
you?
Anywhere near Boulder, Colorado, don't check your oil in your car if it has a gas engine. But if you do need something for your hybrid or electric vehicle, come to Boulder Hybrids at boulderhc.com. Check us out.
There's always something new in the background of Paul's shot. It's like
Right.
just a little bit of advertising
now?
he does in the background there. It's like
Got some
today,
some trim rings and some wiper blades up there on the wall.
yeah, and it's like I've got a second-gen Prius MFD up here if anybody needs one.
There's an MFD up there, right?
Oh yeah, we got plenty of MFDs.
Nice. Yeah, I need one in my Prius C because it's never worked since I've been on a lot, but I don't want to hear that. Yeah.
Patrick,
Yeah, I've lost my video. I don't know. Can you guys still see and hear me?
we can hear you.
Hear you.
There you are.
Okay. Yeah, I can't see you guys at all. But anyway, we bought a first-gen Prius when they were new in September of 2001, and it came with free lifetime oil changes. And since we still have that car and we still live near that dealership, that has really not worked out well for them.
Awesome.
I'm sure you're there every 3,000 miles on the dot, too, aren't you?
Yeah, come on. Get some oil in this thing. Yep, we're on our second battery pack and still going.
Wow.
Yep.
Great.
That's beautiful.
Yep. So for my plug, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and you'll find us on Facebook and Twitter. There you go.
Wow.
Good stuff. All right. I think he's gone now.
Oh, no, Patrick Lewis. Oh, yeah, he died.
Yeah.
Video's bad.
All right. Well, at least he gets his final plug-in. Russell, anything from you this evening, sir?
Oh, I got some plugs this week. So I'm going to do the Tony Schaefer dance. Okay?
You're going to whore it out for Facebook, huh?
Absolutely. Thank you to all 632 with 3 new people. That's 632 people who have liked us on the Facebook page at facebook.com/whatdrivesus. Please go there. If you already liked us, share a link, with your friends, and maybe they'll like us too. We appreciate it. We go there and dig up stuff for the news, and of course we post news there that you may even be interested in. So thank you very much to each and every one of you who've liked us on the Facebook page. Yes, Danny, you look like you had something to say.
No, I was just
Okay.
trying to act shocked by your
Dun dun dun!
Okay.
So, sort of a retro plug. I want to thank my friends at Marantz Professional. Yay, Marantz Professional! Years and years ago, they
Is
gave
that a pocket watch?
no. This is the Marantz.
Years ago.
This is the Marantz PMD 661. This is a audio recorder, a super high quality audio recorder, and these things are all over the place now. I mean, Zoom and TIAC and Tascam, and everybody makes one. And for $150 you get an audio recorder, a digital audio recorder, and it's awesome. The thing is, they don't sound that good. They're not that well made. They're cheap. Marantz Professional makes really good high-end. If you care about audio quality, and I'm kind of a geek in that way, I care. Marantz Pro. You can find them at Marantz at facebook.com/MarantzPro. And I don't know, what else do I say? Oh, the first 125 episodes of What Drives Us were all recorded on this thing. Oops, that's that way. All of them. Every stinking episode was recorded on this little portable guy. And so
we need to figure out how to get them back in there, because the audio podcast can sound better. Because I know it does, because it has gone through that thing before.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, we're taking the audio off of Google now, and it would sound better going into this thing off the mixing board. There's no doubt about it. It would.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll do that. Maybe the Marantz will make a comeback. So I just wanted to say thank you to Marantz for this. It's been amazing, and I love it. So Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, Marantz. Thank you, Heil Microphones. To give me something to hide behind. And that's it for me. Thanks, dude.
Sure. All right.
Are you ready to do the rest of it?
Do a what?
Are you
When
ready
did I
to do
cut
the
out?
rest of it?
I was
Right
doing my
after
plug
you
when I cut
finished
out.
your thing, you cut out.
Oh, good. You got it
Yeah.
all. Okay.
Yeah,
Then
you got
we're
it.
good.
Yeah, you're good, Patrick.
I couldn't tell when I stopped.
I just want to do, kind of my typical shout-outs. If you're interested in 4th Gen Prius information, that's the 2016 Prius, the whole brand new kit and caboodle. We've got pictures and information that's already always posted.
Does it have a 53-mile electric range?
We'll have to see. It will at least have a 53-mile gas range.
Oh.
That I can tell you for sure. You can check out PriusChat.com. The forums over there, we've got some amazing people who are on those forums, and we have people like Tony Schaefer who are on them. So an entire...
We have amazing people, and we have Tony.
So what are you implying?
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave that there, and Tony listens to the show to retort next week. If you need any accessories for your Prius, please feel free to check out the Prius Chat shop. That's priuschat.com/shop. We've got a cool new item this week. It's a new version of our navigation screen hood. It's much higher quality than what we were selling before, and it's almost 50% cheaper. So check it out. It's only $20. It's really well made, and it works perfectly to keep the sun glare from basically washing out that MFD screen on the Prius. That's priuschat.com/shop.
One of these, everybody.
Yes. Except the one I'm talking about actually only fits the newer Priuses.
Oh.
The Intune enabled Prius. So, I think that's all for me. Thanks everybody on the show who joined us tonight for the live shot. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate it. Tell your friends about the show. We'd appreciate it. Go on to iTunes and leave us a review for the show. That would also be very appreciated. You can download us at whatdrives.us every week. So thanks for listening this week. Download us next week and find out what drives us.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Ding, ding, ding.